Hi, we're live. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Sunday night live. My name is Anita. If you've not met me before, I've been doing this proper human diet, eating low carb, then ketovore, carnivore lately, the last 3 years. I've lost 145 pounds following this way of eating. There's a lot of pictures there. I usually don't like these pictures, but there they are. That was the old me. And very happy to be walking this path and very happy to have you join me because we talk about all this stuff every Sunday night, except next Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday. So it's canceled. I'll mention it again at the end. So I want to welcome the moderators, Bonnie and Melissa. They are in the live chat here to welcome you and answer questions and provide links and that sort of thing. Most of the time, there's also links. Check the video notes and the website, all that kind of thing. So today's topic, we are going to talk about there's no magic potion coming to rescue you. And what do I mean by that? So it kind of occurred to me, I guess about a week ago, I did put out a video and I sort of felt that in some cases, and this is mostly people who don't follow me, like you regular guys kind of know a little bit more about where I stand and how I think and how I'm like all for the, getting the foundations of this way of eating down pat. And so some of the comments were starting to alarm me a little, not alarm me, that's a little dramatic. Some of the comments on my last video, about a week ago, I did a video about yerba mate. And some people were, thinking of it as a magical weight loss drink. And it is not that. It is totally not that. And so I wanted to just kind of address that a little bit here, that, we're hearing a lot about, the weight loss drugs out there. We're hearing a lot about different pills and potions and things like that. And that is definitely not what I'm all about. I strongly believe that even before you try fasting, even before you try some of my other favorite metabolic resets like sardine fast, egg fast, fat fast, those sorts of things, even before you ever try those things, that we need to all have the foundations of health and wellness conquered, or at least practicing them and have a good solid foundation. So I do have a visual aid, I guess. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here. Let me see here. There we go. So the 4 pillars of health and wellness. So this, I believe strongly in this, and this sheet is actually the perfect size that you could, if you want to, you can print it out and put it on your fridge as a reminder. But these are the things that I like to see people work on. It's not all about the food. Food is really important, though. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The nutrition is super important. But it's not, about a magic diet or a magic set of macros or a magic tea or a magic shot, anything like that. I mean, even some of the people that I've heard, the responsible ones that are talking about Ozempic and some of those other GLP ones, even they are saying you really need to be doing these pillars of health and wellness in order to have permanent, long-lasting results. Now, I've been doing this for over 10 years, and never before in my life have I, worn the same size of clothes for a period of time. It's always been up and down, up and down, up and down. And 4 different sizes in the closet. And this is really, the past few years has been the first time in my life when I can pull anything out of my closet and I know it fits. I don't have to worry about it. And that is because of these 4 pillars of health and wellness. Number one, of course, I think we'll all agree, is the proper human diet. And that's a phrase coined by Dr. Berry. And what it means exactly, I mean, 100% agree with his phrasing on that. I do feel that the proper human diet is a spectrum that can include anybody who is eating, single ingredient foods, whole foods. We may not, like myself, I'm a practicing carnivore right now. I might not be able to eat all of the same foods as someone else who's following the proper human diet can have. There's so many vegetables and seasonings that I cannot have. I can't have nightshades. I can't have certain things, for various reasons, sensitivities, or they just spike my blood sugar. So I stay away from those and I choose the ones that I can have. And I think that pretty much goes for anybody. You don't have to be you don't have to be keto. You don't have to be a carnivore. You don't have to be anything. But if you do nothing else but follow a proper human diet, single ingredient foods, your health is going to be far and away, superior to anybody who's following a standard American diet. So the proper human diet is very much about the things we are leaving off the list. We are leaving off the list grains and sugars and processed foods, ultra-processed foods, boxes, bags, packages that have, numerous ingredients on the label that we cannot pronounce or that we don't know what they are, colors and, all kinds of chemical names. Those are the things that we leave off the list. Seed oils is a big one. Seed oils last 200 or 300 days in your body. So, it's really hard to get them out of your body. You have to be seed oil free for about 3 years before you're completely clean of them. And so it's important, the things that we're leaving off are quite important. So, following the proper human diet, for me, it started there. That's where it had to start for me, because I didn't pay that much attention to these other 3 pillars. In the beginning, I thought it was all about the food. I mean, I really, just show me if I could only find the right diet, if I could only find the diet that works. That's what my thinking was like. And I think a lot of people, are in that same boat, or they start off that way. They do. And that's understandable, because sometimes we just don't know. Sometimes we haven't been taught. And so as I've been in this community for a period of time, all of a sudden I'm learning from all the different people that I follow that these other pillars are key. They've been key for me to, maintain a large weight loss for all this time. Pillar number 2 is movement. That, has always been a tough one for me. You have to really twist my arm. You have to, I have to bribe myself. But before, I'm not talking now. Now I love going for walks in nature. I love being outside. I go for a walk, most days, 2 days a week, or two times a day, most days. And I miss it when I don't have it. When it's inclement weather, I do have a walking pad that I got when we were having all of our snow and stuff here. I don't like it as much as outdoor walking. I'm just going to be honest. For me, it was like I thought it would be kind of the end all and be all. I would be on it all the time. No, if I look at the walking pad and I'm thinking, I'd rather go outside. And so I go out. So it actually so it's good in that way. It motivates me to go outside. But if there is a day where it's like pouring rain or there's some other reason, yes, it fills a gap. So there's different things like that you can do. If you're someone who is you just are not used to exercise or movement and you're wondering, how do I start? Where do I start? Like how I don't feel like going for a walk. It's so hard to motivate me. I want to tell you about exercise snacks. That's what I've heard them called. I think it's a perfect name. And we've talked about it in our groups and Zoom meetings and things like that about these little exercise snacks. And what they are is throughout the day. So, I basically work at my desk a lot, many hours, and I will get really involved in what I'm working on. So I've learned to set a timer so that at least once per hour, I get up and I do something. So, and also I have my Aura ring on my phone. It'll remind me, isn't it time to get up and stretch your legs? So exercise snacks are short bursts of movement that you can do in your home. Say you're waiting for some water to boil, you're making some tea or some soup or something. You could do 10 countertop push-ups or squats. You could squat 10 times while you're waiting. You could do 10 wall push-ups. You could do 10 lunges. If you keep a set of weights nearby, you could do, some bicep curls. The key is to get up every hour, do those 10, whatever they are, mix it up, do all kinds of different ones during the day, and have about 8 to 10 of them done by the end of the day. That is supposed to be, according to the studies that I've seen on this, that is supposed to be as beneficial as taking a 30-minute walk. So on those days when you're, kind of housebound or tied to your desk or whatever, you can, it's a really good way to start. And if you start with something small like that, it can give you the taste for more. There's so many little things that will accumulate throughout the day that you're moving. Another one is, I talk a lot about walking because it's something I love to do. Resistance training is another basic thing. You can start with just a set of dumbbells at home or body weight movements. And that would be things like push-ups. It's using your body weight, stepping up and down from steps, lunges, like those sorts of things, squats. So that's all body weight type movements, and they're all part of your essential movements that we need so that as we get older, we can bring in our own groceries, lift things up and down from the cupboards, that kind of thing. So I think it's really important that we incorporate some of those things. And if you want to get into like a formal, strength and weight building program, that's also an option. But you don't have to start out that way. You can just start light and do a few things just to get a taste for it. The third pillar is sleep. And that's one that I struggled with for a long time. And, I've been taking it more seriously the last couple of years. That's all about making sure you have proper sleep hygiene. And what that looks like is darkness in your bedroom, for one thing. So I did recently get some blackout curtains in my bedroom. Because of all things, my bedroom is on the south side of the house, and there's light coming in there. And even like first thing in the morning, the room is really well lit, and even after the sun goes down, the room is actually quite well lit from outside because there were almost like a semi-sheer blind that was in there. So blackout curtains made a huge difference. They're fantastic. And even with those blackout curtains, there's little lights around the room. I know that some people tape over any little blue lights or whatever. A sleep mask. I bought one for $20 on Amazon. That's a real help because it just blocks out everything. And the one I got is pretty comfortable, so I'm happy about that. I just saw somebody or actually it was Melissa said that foil on windows work as well, an old cop trick. Okay. Yeah. So think, just get the light out of that room. Having a bedtime and a wake up time that is pretty consistent and regular. So, always I know sometimes things happen and we don't always go to bed at exactly the same time, or some of us might end up, binge watching something on TV. I've been known to do that. Those sorts of things are important, I think. To establish a regular routine, as regular as you can, and try to stick with it, knowing that once in a while some of these things happen. So just I think that's important. Let me see what else I had. Oh yes, so the circadian rhythm plays into your sleep schedule. I find that I do really well if I can get some morning sun. So that's why I've been timing my walks outside. And if you don't have time to walk in the morning, even just going outside and, puttering around for a few minutes in the yard in the morning sun, like maybe before you go to work, or maybe before, if you work from home, maybe before you start your work day. That's what I used to do until I retired. And now I have time to actually go for a morning walk. But before, I would just putter around in my front yard. I'd do a little bit of grounding. I'd hug a couple of my trees and shrubs and get that sun in my face. And it doesn't have to actually be sunny. It can be misty and cloudy and all those other things, but you're still getting morning light. That's what I should call it, morning light. And, I think it makes a difference. I feel really good getting the morning light. And then if you can do it again in the evening, that's fantastic as well. But if you could only do one, I would go for the morning. I try to do both. It's we're getting into the warmer days now, finally, and it's quite pleasant outside. It's much easier to go for an evening walk. And it also, if you go for a walk after dinner, that's the best time to go for a walk as far as your blood sugar goes. It really helps to lower that. It's really good for that. So getting your circadian rhythm, taking sky breaks during the day. If you're working and you have like a 10-minute break or a 15-minute break, it's nice if you can do it outside. Read your emails on your phone or something, like just go outside and let that light, whatever time of day it is, let that light on your skin. Move your eating window to earlier in the day. That's also another thing. I've heard Dr. Boz recommend that. I've heard some of the other influencers who talk about circadian rhythm talk about moving your eating window earlier in the day. And I've been trying to do that. It's not always easy because sometimes, you've got family, there's a certain dinner time, that kind of thing. But if you can do it, great, try to do that. So lastly, on our 4 pillars of health and wellness, we have stress management. Now, the cool thing about stress management is that if you are doing the first 3 pillars, if you're following a proper human diet, if you're walking outside, getting into the nature, if you're getting a good night's sleep, doing those 3 things is going to go a long way to managing your stress. It's not everything, but it's a big chunk of it. That is so healthy for your mental health and your stress levels to do those other things and work on those other things. You can add extra things. For instance, like those of us that, well, I can't even count us anymore because I'm retired now. But for those of you that have a full-time office job or any other type of a job, that can be stressful. And so you can use extra things like breathing techniques. There's box breathing. There's the physiological sigh. You'll have to look that up. I'm not going to demonstrate it here right now. Stretching, meditation, those sorts of things. Cuddling with your dog if you can do that. We did a live stream a couple of weeks ago about stress management and the different types of stress, good stress, bad stress, and different things you can do. So it'd be good if you are suffering from stress or you're trying to figure out how to manage it and you didn't see that, that's a good one to do. So there's so many, listening to music or being with friends, socializing. There's so many things that can just contribute to your overall feeling of well-being, which contributes to reducing your stress levels. These 4 pillars, they work together and they balance against each other. And, if you work on just one, and not try to get the benefits of the other 3, it's just not as effective. Managing your stress is going to help you follow your proper human diet. Getting in your movement is going to help you with number 1. Getting a good night's sleep is going to help you stay on your proper human diet. So each of them help you with the others. I hope that made sense. I'm just saying that they all kind of work together. So it's so important to me that people understand that these things they work together. They are all things that we can do. Most of this is free. I mean, the only thing on this list, as I'm looking at it, that is not free is the food. We have to pay for our food. But everything else, I mean, going out for a walk and making sure that you get a good night's sleep and doing some stretching and breathing and hanging out with friends. These things are free to us. There's not a cost. I mean, yeah, some people will pay to join a gym or buy the walking pad or the mini trampoline. I actually have one coming. I'll be reviewing a trampoline and doing a video on that. It's something I've been interested in, but they're not 100% necessary. They're like they're accessories and they can help, sure, but just like the food, I eat pretty simply these days. I used to want to have like lots of ingredients and lots of stuff going on with my meals, and every meal was a gourmet event, and that I'm not that way anymore. I'm pretty straight and simple, and it's not needed. Food is no longer a recreational event or a gastronomic event. It's just fuel, and so I can do without. As soon as I see a recipe that has more than 5 ingredients now, my eyes glaze over and I scroll or next, that kind of thing. I just can't do it anymore. I just prefer the steak. I'll just give me the steak, or a chuck roast or something like that. Salt, a glass of water. I'm happy. I don't need all the extra stuff, and so. If you take nothing away from this message today, it is to focus on these 4 pillars of health and worry about the other stuff later. It can be down the road, especially if you are brand new. If you're brand new, you shouldn't be worrying about the right macros, the right this. You shouldn't be stressing about, what time of day you eat this or whether you fast, this many hours or that. Like all of those things are superfluous to this primary plan, which is 4 pillars of health that we can all do relatively free and clear and easily if we want to bad enough. This is what will make you the long-term healthy person you want to be and get you on that road to optimal health. So that's my thing for tonight. That's what I wanted to share with you guys, and I see that there are some questions piling up and comments and things like that. So I am going to go over there and see what we have waiting here. Okay. Oh, Susan, this is such a nice thing to say. Sunday nights are something you look forward to with me. I appreciate that. I'm so happy you're here. Hey, Mary, I saw you in the chat there, and I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I hope your birthday was great. It was just a couple of days ago, if I remember correctly. So happy birthday, Mary. Joanne, I have a question. When is the best time of day to put on a Dexcom G7? First time user. Okay, so you got one. I always did it in the morning. I've had it 2 or 3 times. I do have another one sitting on my shelf here that I think I'm probably going to put on in a week or so. And I get up I do it in the morning. I've never heard of there being an ideal time, but I'm not an expert in this area. And maybe someone else has already in the chat come forward to give you, the best time. I'm just going to take that off. So hopefully that's the case. I've just always done it in the morning. Hey, Cheryl, No Sugar Coach is here. Happy birthday to you too. I understand you just had a birthday as well. So glad that you are here. TK Carnivore. Do you still follow macros? How to know if over or under eating? So, right now I'm tracking macros, but I'm not following macros. There's a difference. So what I suggest that people do, if they're not sure and if they're not new, if you're new, I would suggest trying intuitively, because this works for so many people, intuitively eat to satiety and see how that goes. There are some people that didn't work as well for me. I have a long history of food addiction, long history of obesity. I needed to kind of have parameters, and some people do, and there's no shame in that. It is what it is. But what I suggest to people, if they've been stalled for a long time, what you could do is you could track macros for 2 weeks, like a 2-week period. Don't judge them. Don't try to hit any. Just track them to know what you're naturally doing. Then calculate your TDEE. We have a TDEE calculator. It's always in my video notes. So it's in the video notes here. Perhaps one of the moderators, sometimes they put it in the chat. If you calculate your TDEE, which is total daily energy expenditure, take a look at the results and the suggestions it gives you for how many grams of protein and all that, and compare it to what you've done for those 2 weeks of tracking. And that might give you an idea of where things could be going wrong. And it could be either, it's not necessarily eating too much. For some people, it's not eating enough. Chronically under eating is also an issue. So yeah, I think that's a good place to start. The only times I'm actually trying to hit macros, and it's the reason why I'm tracking right now, is I am doing 2 days a week of protein sparing modified fast right now, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So on those days, I am shooting for certain macros. The rest of the time, no. I'm just eating to my hunger. So I hope that helps. Christine, breath work is the hardest for me to do regularly. I know it's good, but I just don't feel like doing it. You know what? There's going to be 20, 30 people in this chat who are going to say the same thing. And I'm like that with certain things. It's hard for me to just make that decision. And it used to be hard for me to make the decision to go out for a walk. And now it's become easy. The longer you are making yourself do something, the easier it becomes after a while. Now it's like I just expect myself to do it, and I love doing it, and I look forward to doing it. And maybe at some point you'll look forward to doing the breath work. It is very beneficial for stress management. Danny is working on number 2 movement, striving for at least 1 walk a day, and resistance training 3 days a week. Number 3, sleep is the struggle. Yeah, that can be a struggle. We bring our busy lives into our bedrooms sometimes. I know I used to do that. I'd be checking messages. I'd be in bed, with an iPad or a phone or something, checking messages for a couple of hours, replying to comments, that kind of thing. And now I'm trying to have set times for that during the day. And so the evening is just for relaxing and enjoyment and working on that sleep hygiene. Yeah, I get it. It's not easy. Karen Roberts, I'm with you, Anita. Almost as good as the weight loss is the fact you can wear the same size year in and year out. I know. I mean, and I recognize that, I probably will lose some more weight. Things are happening for me this month, which I'm very grateful for. And I believe that, there'll be another size of clothes in the closet, and maybe I'll be wearing those for a year. I don't know, but it is, it's great. And I have no regrets that I'm kind of been wearing the same size for at least the last year to year and a half. And I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. To me, that is maintenance. Maintenance is a skill we have to learn. It's a skill I never had before because it's, in my career of dieting, and I have a long dieting career. It started when I was 12. The day I hit goal weight or some sort of weight that I was happy with was the day I started the old habits and was binging within 2-3 days again. That was my life before. Plummeting down the scale or racing back up the scale. There was never a time where I wore the same size for more than, 2-3 weeks at most. So I'm very grateful for it. Brian Airy, I wished we would have had this knowledge when I was a young man. I feel that, but I'm glad I'm on the path now, and I love the 4 pillars. Yeah, I agree. I wish I had it too. I'm 67 years old. I came to this party late. I was in my mid-50s when I started this journey. And I wish I knew what I knew, or what I know now. I wish I knew back then. Now I'm 67. I'm on no medications. I feel healthier than I ever have in my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It's like a miracle. All I can say is that it is never too late. For those of you out there who are thinking, I'm old now, I'm using a cane or a walker or something like that. It's just too late for me. It's not. It's so totally not too late. It's never too young, start now if you're still young, but for sure it's never too late. I just have to take a sip of my water. I have a dry throat. Thank you. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Brian. Mary, I think maintenance is far harder than weight loss. 100%. It is for me, it was a skill I never had, and now I feel like I know what to do in maintenance. I know how to stay the same weight for a long period of time, and that is fantastic. Christy, you mentioned you're drinking apple cider vinegar every day. Drinking it right now. Has it helped with gut issues? Yes, surprisingly, it has. Want to try it, but can't drink through a straw because I swallow air, worried about the protection of my teeth. Okay, so here's what I found out about the whole teeth issue, because I was a little worried about that as well when I looked into it further. So the standard advice, if you're going to drink apple cider vinegar, drink it through a straw. And I have 2 a day. And I tried it through a straw and I hated it. But when I looked into it, what some of the websites said, that when I went to them, was, but if you dilute it in a lot of water, you're fine. So this is almost 16 ounces, I think. It's almost 2 cups of water. And I put 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in here. It's very weak. I can taste the apple cider vinegar, but I'm not concerned about my teeth when I have this much water diluting it. So I feel that it's it makes some logical sense. And the whole thing with the straw, I found when I was drinking it through a straw that the straw was directing it right at my teeth. But when I sip it like this, I'm letting it go kind of to the back of my throat and avoiding my teeth, more so than with a straw. So I'm feeling okay with it. Now, I did use an apple cider vinegar drink about 3 years ago to get off a medication that I had been on for 15 years for acid reflux. Nighttime acid reflux was really bad. And so I was having 2 drinks a day, and so I got off that, and I tapered down my medication until it was 0, and used this to do that. But I didn't start having real severe gut issues till about 2 years ago. So one connection that I made recently was, I was doing the apple cider vinegar to get off the protein pump inhibitor that I was on, and then I stopped it, and gradually some of my gut issues came back. Now, yes, I started doing the yogurt then, and that definitely helped me. But now that I'm back to the apple cider vinegar, and the occasional yogurt. I don't do it every day. I make it once in a while now. I feel like things have improved like never before. Like my gut is feeling the best it's ever been. So I'm gonna continue to do the 2 things. Like they're both helping. So that's my feeling on it. Trisha, we didn't end up unhealthy overnight, and it takes time to get healthy after years of bad choices. That is the truth. I spent 5.5 decades eating standard American diet, crash dieting, doing all the bad things, and this wasn't going to happen overnight. And so I feel like it took what it took, and I'm still working on it. And this is going to be my way of living forever. And I'm okay with that. I mean, who wouldn't want to live this healthy, clean lifestyle where you're getting fresh air and good sleep, and you have good times with people and laughter and everything else? Like who wouldn't want that? Good food, good healthy food that keeps you going through all this stuff. I mean, we all want that. T, I can only walk in the therapy pool, otherwise the pain is bad. Well, yeah, you've got to start somewhere, and thank goodness you have a therapy pool to walk in. I think that's fantastic, and I hope that that's helping you. If you, I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but on YouTube, there's chair exercises and chair yoga, that sort of thing, even chair aerobics. Uh, you know, I see myself maybe in 20 years when I'm in my 80s, I might be doing those. I don't know. I have bone on bone arthritis in my knee. And, thank goodness I figured out that sardines made my knee feel better. I ate an awful lot of them, a totally ungodly amount of sardines to get my knee to feel better. And so now I can do 10, 12, 15,000 steps a day. And I'm not saying that, everybody's going to get there. I'm saying that I got there, and that I know that I have limitations. As I get older, I will have more limitations, but I'm fighting them with the tools that I have here, these 4 pillars of health, and that's my message. But yeah, nice that you have the therapy pool. Penny, what range does your blood sugar generally stay within? Well, here's an interesting thing that has happened with my apple cider vinegar drink. Perhaps the yerba mate tea plays a role in that. Perhaps just that I've been, I don't know, things are changing for me this month, it seems. So before it was always in the 80s and 90s in the morning, my blood glucose. Now I'm registering in the 70s most days, and sometimes even in the 60s. So, which is interesting, but that gradually came down. And we're talking, the last 3 or 4 years. I never tracked my blood glucose before. I didn't want to know, especially in the beginning when I was over 300 pounds. I didn't want to know what it was. I just knew that it was bad, from all the things that the doctor would nag me about and, tell me all the dangers of being overweight, and that once I was 40, I'd never be able to lose weight and all that kind of stuff. Like I had bad news all the time. So it's good. I'm happy. I'm really happy with my blood glucose. Brian, having a plan to set a routine has helped me with my stress. Yeah, I think some people really need the routine. I'm a creature of routine as well. Too much spontaneity is not my thing. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know what other people are doing at given times. Even things like the going out for a late dinner. I'm usually kind of ticked about it because I like going to bed at I like cuddling up with my dog at 8 o'clock, climbing into warm blankies and pajamas and all that stuff. I don't want to be out at a restaurant at 8 o'clock at night. It's not for me. Those sorts of things, too spontaneous for me. I know it sounds crazy. I like a quiet life with routine and knowing exactly what's going to happen. So I can see that would decrease stress for many people because I know it does for me. Dee Lee, you're so wise, Anita. Thank you for sharing your tips. You're welcome. These are things that have helped me. So, that's what I like to do is share the things that I know work. TK Carnivore, have you done a DEXA scan? Notice difference in visceral fat. So I'm in Canada. We don't have the good access to these things that people in other countries may have. When I was just 2 years ago, I went to KetoCon. I did a DEXA scan there. So I have that baseline. Now, since then, I've lost some more weight. I'm doing a lot more exercise and movement. I'm looking forward to a time when I can get another DEXA scan for $50. That's what it costs. Here, it's a few $100s. And by the way, if there are Canadians, especially Western Canada, if any of you know where I can get one that's a reasonable price here in Canada, I would love to hear about it. crossing the border for things like this isn't so much fun anymore to go to the States. So it's not worth it for me to go cross the border to have a DEXA scan. Maybe someday that'll change, and I could do that. But I would love to maybe get one here and compare it to my baseline, because I don't have an answer to that if I've had any improvement. Let me see here. Meredith. Oh, such a nice comment. I love you so much. Wise and beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comment. Mary, Anita looks like she is far younger than 67. Oh, I appreciate that comment too. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Trish, movement is the hardest one for me because I would rather doom scroll or watch YouTube. Being brutally honest here. Being brutally honest is a good thing, Trish. I mean, we can't make changes until we know where we stand and where our weaknesses are, and then we can work on them. I mean, that's just the way it is. I can get caught up in TV. Most people that know me know I really love detective shows, and I'm really love British detective shows most of all. And I could stay up all night watching those things. So I have to, these are all things that I have to work on as well. And, getting out for the walks was a real breakthrough for me to just get past that reluctance to get out and move. And now I'm so grateful that I'm doing it, and I'm blessed that we're getting this good weather again. And there's, the sunshine just gives me so much extra optimism and hope. I just feel good. It's like a feel good vitamin of some kind. We had Dr. Kelly Ritter on the show one time, and I just loved that she said that sunlight is actually a nutrient. And so I took that seriously. I take that seriously, and I try. I'm in the Pacific Northwest. It's a rainy area. So when there is sunlight, I try to get it. And if there's just regular light, I try to get that too. And I think it's worthwhile to do that. And at some point, you'll just be ready to do it. Nobody can make you ready to do it, and until you're ready to do it, it'll be something that you just, one day you'll just wake up and go, okay, today's the day. I'm going to try this. And so I'll be here rooting for you, Trish. Ciao, CEO. I received your sardine book this week from last week's contest. Oh, good. Perfect. I'm glad it got to you. Thank you for entering the contest, and that's awesome. And thank you for those of you. There was quite a few people who also ordered it when they didn't win the book, and I do appreciate the support. For those of you who don't know, this is out on Amazon now, and it's basically kind of my how-tos and tips and my version of doing the sardine challenge, as well as Omega Mondays, because I also strongly believe in Omega Mondays, and that is available on Amazon. Okay, let's see here. We still have about 10 minutes left. Oh, and there we go. Just Jason Keto has gifted a membership. So for those I see so many members here tonight. Nice that YouTube identifies who the members are. You guys are fantastic, coming to Zoom meetings and supporting, this live stream every Sunday night. I just appreciate that so much. For those of you who are new, like this recipient of Jason's gift, which was Penny Kuzel. So if you want to come to one of the private Zoom meetings that we have with just our channel members, that is posted every Monday in the membership area. There's the Zoom link. So, that's where you look for them, and hope to see you there. So we chat about all kinds of things there. So it's great to have that extra support. So I'm just going to flip over. We still have a few minutes. I'm going to flip over to the live and just welcome a few people. So, of course, just Jason Keto, thank you for being here. Whoops, we lost me for a moment there. Danny, nice to see you, Danny. And who else have we got here? So many people. Oh yeah, so many members are here. I just love that. The Zoom meetings are fun. Yes. Cheryl was here, of course, and Trish we just talked about, and Susan, and yes, Christy, do you watch Heartland? Yeah, I was watching it for a while. It is filmed in Ontario. I love some of the Canadian shows are I just love them. That's a good one. And what was the other one? Of course, I tend towards the dramas, so I was watching Saint Pierre for a while there. That their season 1 ended. Corner Gas is another favorite of mine. Bosch, thank you, Danny. Bosch is great for those who like crime shows. Okay, well, now we're getting so off topic, but it's so easy for me to to get off topic. I'm gonna have to come back and read all these chats later. I see all kinds of suggestions for things I might watch. Trish, I understand this. Thank you so much. Trish is I have such good friends that are Americans, and so I never want to say anything. And I know that this is just all political stuff, and I love you guys, and I know that the vast majority of Americans love Canadians as well. I mean, we've been, side by side allies for many years. I hold no ill will, trust me. But I just wanted to acknowledge that you said that. That is wonderful. Mary Mick is looking to get a DEXA scan in Ontario, the Oshawa area. If anyone knows of how that could happen, then maybe say so in the live chat. Christina says it's a couple $100 where she is. I'm not sure where you are. That's better than the price I heard for here, which someone said it was $800 or something. And no sugarcoat Cheryl. So Ottawa, easy access. Okay, so there are Canadians that can get DEXA scans, so that is good. I like that. Let me see here. Hi, Lita. It's so good to see you here. Pretty sure a carnivore and sardines decreases the inflammation significantly, as I am symptom-free despite 20 years of AS arthritis. It's gone with the inadequate vegetarianism no longer. That is fantastic. I love that. Let me see here. Christine, I'm thinking about getting a walking pad so I can watch my YouTube videos while walking. Yes. So that is also my plan when the weather does not hold up. Or even watching a crime drama on the walking pad would work for me. I like it. Let me see here. Got some discussion in the chat about sparkling water. I don't know anything about sparkling water because I don't drink it, but yeah. Let me see here if we have any other questions that I can answer before we go. Okay, so KJ, my Radical Healing Rebellion, I have ME/CFS, prolonged mold exposure. So it takes a toll on my sleep and how much I can exercise. Healing is slow, but I'm hoping I'll feel like a normal person eventually. There's a lot of people in the community who have issues like this, and CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome. So there are people that you can get support from, and yeah, healing is definitely it takes time. It really takes time, but just know that you're not alone. Bonnie says she knows a lady that has been very successful walking in a therapy pool and to keep going. So that is fantastic. Pam has got her L Reuteri today. She has 7 more days of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 90 days before she makes her yogurt. That is fantastic. Wow, good for you doing that for 90 days. Okay. So let me see here. I think we're about ready to call it a night, unless there's any more questions that come in. But I'm just going to throw this comment up here. KJ again from My Radical Healing Rebellion. Stress and lack of sleep have had me falling off the wagon far too many times. I'm 62 days back in and down 19 pounds. After regaining 30 of the original 50 that I lost in 2023. And I think that just kind of illustrates the point that I was trying to make before about these 4 pillars and the importance of working on all of them. So we'll just tie up the meeting with that great comment, KJ, that, 2 of those things can derail you. One of them too much stress can derail you. Lack of sleep can derail you. That is really what can happen. And it's not all about just the food. It is about all 4 of those things. And so I hope that you guys will think about those 4 pillars. Most of it is free. And what's even more important is that it is a sustainable way of life, a very sustainable way of life. So anyways, everybody, thank you so much for coming to the live stream. Just a last minute reminder that next week is Easter Sunday. There will not be a live stream, but I hope you come to the next one. And I just appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic 2 weeks coming up, and a beautiful Easter where you visit family and friends, and just do all the social things, okay, guys? All right, everybody, good night. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.